Episode 59 of I Know What You Watched Last Week, the horror movie review show here on the Heathen Movie Channel. And this week we've done it again, bringing you an especial 3 movies from a famous popular horror franchise. I hate that word, so we'll say film series. And we've left out the most classic, the original, and we went with
Poltergeist.
Yes, and we watched in the series of Poltergeist
2, 3, and the remake.
That's correct. Poltergeist 2, Poltergeist 3, and Poltergeist from 2015. This is your first time watching all 3 of these, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had seen Poltergeist 2 one time, long time ago. Never seen number 3, and I'd also seen the remake one time. Let's get into the rankings. Where did you go with this?
I think this one's pretty obvious. I don't think many people would disagree that the remake gets bottom spot. Then second place goes to Nummer 3. And top spot goes to Poltergeist 2, which I found very entertaining.
Yeah, I've got it in exactly the same order. Number 2 wins, followed by 3, followed by the remake. And yeah, so let's start with the bottom pick, the remake from 10 years ago. Still pretty new, really.
Yes.
What are your overriding general memories of this?
A really annoying kid.
What ones? Kind of like, because there's 3 kids. There are 3 children in this.
We've got the teenage girl.
Mm.
The very young Carol Ann.
Yeah, though she's not Carol Ann. No one has the same name in this remake, which is stupid.
Even though she actually looked a lot like her, I thought, in the face. Like, she's got dark hair as opposed to the bleach blonde, but they looked really similar.
They've given her the same haircut. You know, the fringe haircut.
And then we've got the slightly older than her boy.
Griffin is called in this.
Yeah, he annoyed me. Yeah, I think we've watched too many films recently where there's a little child who's just scared of everything, and after a while it gets a bit on my nerves.
We've got Griffin instead of Oliver. And instead of Carol Ann, we are given, I don't even remember what her name was, Madison. Madison's not a... You know, Madison's almost like a secondary character name. Carol Ann. It's always like, when you first hear it, you always think it's Caroline in the original movies, because everyone's saying it in a different kind of intonation almost. But yeah, so with this one, I had really bad memories of it in terms of it being just a bland crap film. I actually enjoyed it a little more than I expected to the second time around. Maybe it's because in the past 10 years I've seen such bad movies that the Poltergeist remake actually doesn't seem as bad as some of the other crud that we've seen. Now, this does open kind of cruddy because when we get the title Poltergeist,
oh god,
it's just like a shadow of letters spelling Poltergeist across a field with some telephone mast in the background. That was really poor. Really bad.
I'm also wondering, do you think you maybe thought this was worse at the time versus now, because at the time you might have still been a little bit more open to, you know, remakes and new films being decent?
Yeah, around 2015 it wasn't so everything's like crashed.
Whereas now
to
you
rock
kind
bottom.
of go into things being like, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, because certain things are like shoved down your throat and things like that. Things that shouldn't exist in a lot of horror movies, which they just stuff in there for.
This also
for
isn't
no reason.
the worst remake.
No, it's not. It's not the worst remake. And again, that's what took me slightly by surprise, because before we watched it, it's not. I don't rate movies on IMDb for, you know, anyone's
anyone else
just for myself, so that I can look back and think, oh, so this is what I thought of that if I hadn't watched it in a long time. So I'd actually given this one 2 out of 10, but I've seen so many actual 2 out of 10s recently that I've bumped this up to a 4 for my own viewing.
I think
pleasure.
4 sounds about right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's my harsh critic.
So we, as you said, we see this brilliant lawn Poltergeist title.
It might be the worst title opening things I've ever seen.
It's pretty poor, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've got the family who are travelling to look at a house, because it turns out that the dad has Eric, I think, is the character.
Well, Sam Rockwell, the actor. Everyone knows who Sam Rockwell is, but yeah, I'll check his name.
He's recently lost his job, been made redundant. And
he's been laid off.
And they need to find somewhere more affordable to live,
His name is Eric, yeah.
Yeah, Eric. And I think his wife in this is called Amy.
Yeah, Eric and Amy,
Yeah. So they come up to this, house in a typical suburban area. And I think the house is pretty nice.
It is kind of bland and uninspired, the house.
But
the kid, especially the teen girl, Kendra, she's like, how can I live here? There's no way I can live here. Look at this place. And the parents like, no, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work, honey. We can get through this. And then they walk in and there's like 4 or 5 bedrooms. All the bedrooms are massive. The living room's massive. The kitchen's nice. And I'm like, well, he's either got a lot of savings or just houses in America just don't cost a lot of money, because a lot of people would kill to live in a house like this. It's not like they're down and out. And they seem to always do this in horror movies. We watched something, God, I can't remember who's in it, but it's called The Apartment or something, or The Resident, something like this. And a woman moves into a new apartment. It's like overlooking the Brooklyn Bridge with all these like floor to ceiling windows. It's like, oh, I can't believe I've got to live in this creepy apartment. It's like, no, you're living in like the flashiest apartment I've probably ever seen. And in Heathen, obviously, we get our main guy. He's instantly moving into a new place in a notorious building, and the building he's moving into is going to look anything like these so-called, terrible places where these people are living.
It's going to be an actual shithole.
It's going to be an actual shithole, where no one would want to step foot in.
So that kind of irked me when they kept complaining about how awful this house is they had to live in, and I was like, most people in England would consider this a mansion.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people just around the world would consider this a pretty large house. Something else they do, as well as just showing us newish, nicest homes that people have moved into. Once again, in this film, we have the teen daughter who's just a total biatch.
Yeah.
Why do we never have nice teen daughters?
I don't know. I really don't get it. It's this idea that all teenagers go through their rebellious phase or something, but I don't think that's true.
No.
And even if they're a bit rebellious, doesn't mean they're like, oh my god, everything sucks. You suck. I hate you. I hate this. It's just like, okay, can we have a slightly more nuanced character for once, please?
Yeah, because if you're going by reality, like, let's just take my life, right? My mum says that I was no trouble whatsoever. I was like a golden child, an angel.
Yeah, your mum also didn't have any problem with you, like, drinking and smoking weed, and she'd drop you off at work with that stuff, so maybe she had a lot of leeway for you.
Yeah.
You didn't have to rebel.
Yeah, I guess I didn't have to rebel, yeah.
Anyway, moving on, back to the film.
Let me just stop Kayla.
Anyway, so they move into this horrible, tiny, pokey little mansion.
And it's the same storyline, isn't it? It's essentially the same storyline. They move into a house which is haunted by evil beings, and the family had to come together to rescue the youngest daughter, who I'm going to call her Carol Ann, not Madison. Maddie. Yeah. So
also, the little boy who I said I found a bit aggravating Griffin. Because he's
Griffin, not Oliver.
He's scared of everything, everything.
How old is he? 12, maybe.
Yeah, sounds about right. But for some reason, as we said, this mansion has many, many rooms to choose from, and he is by far the most scaredy cat of the 3 kids, and yet they're still like, we're going to stick you in the attic, which is the scariest room in the house.
Of course, yeah.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
That's going to help him out with his scare issues, isn't it?
And we do have the, hark back to the original. He's got a window in the roof, and you see the tree doing its thing outside the window. You
get all that stuff, but before they show us that stuff, all one after another with kind of no build up, we just get little things of kind of like Sam Rockwell and his wife, Eric and Amy. And they're kind of like bedding in to this new place. He's saying stuff like the cliche stuff like, everything's going to be okay. Or she's saying to him, you've got to tell me everything's going to be okay. So then I believe it. And everything's going to work out. Kind of like useless dialogue. And he did something that kind of just irks me, just possibly in real life, although I've not seen it in real life, but certainly in TV and movies where they're kind of like discussing things and after a long, hard day and like coming to the end of living. I assume they lived in the city before. That's why they're kind of like more out in the sticks a little bit in this house. Probably why they're not enjoying it so much. And they think, right, I'm going to pour us some booze. And he gets two mugs, and pours in the rum or the whiskey, whatever they're drinking. I'm like, you need to show alcohol respect. You need to see what you're drinking. You don't drink booze out of a mug.
I think this is a parent thing,
Get a
though,
glass.
isn't it? Because then your kids can't tell. You know, you're trying to.
Well, as you revealed, I was just allowed to run riot. So, you know, not seeing booze in a see-through glass wasn't going to corrupt me any little bit. Maybe you a lot.
That's the thing that annoyed you. What annoyed me was that they're clearly, in their opinion at least, you know, struggling.
Yeah.
Neither of them are working. And Amy, the wife, is like, well, you know, let me at least look for a job, a part-time job. And he's like, no, you will not work.
Well, you know, we're in 2015 here, where the super strong woman role hasn't taken over, where they keep the man under the thumb. You know, they're still trying to go with the classic.
But it doesn't have to be one way or the other.
It doesn't.
She could
I totally agree.
A part-time job if they're like, you know, really worried about their finances.
His masculine pride is hurt, though. You know,
It's so annoying.
He's lost his job, but you know, he's not so unattractive, Sam Rockwell / Eric in this, to Amy, because she goes to the bathroom. And then she walks out the bathroom, comes into the bedroom, and she's like just in a pair of knickers and her vest. And she's like, I've got sad knickers. And he's like, well, I got very happy pants. And then they're about to get down to it. Sam Rockwell's about to get lucky because, you know, they need to comfort each other because they're going through this hard time in this terrible house. But then I believe it's Griffin interrupts because he's been scared by something. And got me thinking, do we really want children?
Well, and especially with this family, they've got the teenager. So they've already had, like, how old might she be? Like 15, 16?
Yeah, I think she's about 15.
So they've had all those years of, you know, trying to sneak in a quick pump here and there when you can. But now they've got the little kid, Maddie / Carol Ann, who can't be more than like 5. So they've still got at least another like 13 years.
Well, maybe over the years they've become masters of covert sexual encounters.
They haven't, though, have they?
Yeah, but they're in a new house now, so it's a new territory, so you've got to work it out again.
Okay, yeah, keep it
Maybe
brief.
instead of putting Griffin in the attic, they should have made a sex dungeon in the attic with a sex swing.
And made it
all this other
really
freaky
scary,
stuff.
so none of the kids ever want to go up there.
Well, I think if you come across your parents' sex dungeon, there's nothing more scary than that.
So I think the reason that Griffin comes down at this point is because there's a little, like, weird hole in the wall of his attic room.
Hole.
Yeah, and a bunch of clown dolls fall from some unseen spot up down into this hole, and he's like, Dad, there's all these clowns in my room. Why would anyone have this?
Is this before the clowns kind of
Before
attack
they,
him?
yeah.
Right. See, this is the first thing in this film. The first thing I've actually got is Carol Ann, right? She goes to the closet, the wardrobe, and she gets the static hair, and Griffin gets the static hair. So there's clearly something behind the closet. So that's the first thing from like the classic Poltergeist that we're getting.
Yeah.
Then, as you say, all the clowns are revealed, and I say all the clowns because in the original, the classic Poltergeist, there's one clown. Mm-hmm. One clown, and the clown also belongs to Oliver.
Right.
The child in the movie. It's not just a clown that appears from seemingly out of nowhere in the attic. And yeah, also this clown was made up to look evil.
Yeah.
Right, so it's just an evil looking clown, whereas in the original, they have your typical, even though you can still find it freaky, they still just have your typical clown, which a child might have. And what they've done is they used angles and lighting to make it look more scary. It's kind of like innocent but not so innocent grin and crazy hair. So when it does come to life, you are more likely to be, you know, terrified by it. Whereas this one, it's like, here's an evil clown, and here's 2, 3, 4 evil looking clowns. Less is more. It just shows that this film doesn't have anything, so they have to just like throw so much so quickly with no build up.
Honestly, in this film, the clowns felt pretty useless.
It was. I felt like every single part of it. The closet was useless. The clowns were useless. For Pete's sake, the television part, which is the whole, you know, that is the real classic scene in Poltergeist, is Carol Ann going to the television and conversing with the spirits and the hands coming on, and that goes on for a while, and there's a build up. And this one, it was almost like an afterthought. It was a complete afterthought. We also get the electric toys come to life as well.
Not just toys, like the Stairmaster and just everything with electricity gets.
We also have as a replacement. So we've gone through the clown, the closet, the electric toys, right? There's also, you've already mentioned that Griffin's room, I believe, is next to the window where the tree is banging against, and the tree again. It just happens. There's no build. There's no clap. You get the thunderclaps in the original, which kind of like they're indicating that something is coming. Whereas this one is just like, oh, the tree's going to come through the window. I'm going to take Griffin, throw him about a little bit, keep him up here, and like drop him down.
And they did that full on, like the tree branch came and had like a weird hand shape to it and like grabbed him and pulled him, and I was like, this just isn't.
It's all cruddy CGI as well. Whereas in the
me.
original, of course, you have real effects. People, at the top of their game, creating groundbreaking effects. If you remember, the original is written by Spielberg. It was overseen by Steven Spielberg. He was doing E.T. at the same time. He originally wanted to direct Poltergeist, but because he was doing E.T., in his contract they said you can't be doing both at the same time. So he brought in his friend Toby Hooper to come and do it. But they are both kind of doing it because this is such. The original Poltergeist is not one of my favourite horror movies because I'd seen it well after the likes of Halloween, Hellraiser, Child's Play, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so it came across as very tame. I do think it's a good movie, but it's very Spielberg. We have like the wholesome family, and a wholesome family have to come together through love to overcome their obstacles, which is very his type of film. And obviously he's a fantastic, legendary filmmaker, a groundbreaking filmmaker. You could only hope to be as good a filmmaker as Spielberg. It's just that for me, his kind of movies aren't really my thing, so I much more enjoyed the Toby Hooper angles of Poltergeist than that kind of thing. But what he does do is bring the things that we've mentioned, like the closet and the TV, all those scenes really come to life, and the clown really comes to life. And this one is kind of just dead on arrival, isn't it?
Yeah, everything is just, you use the word bland. It's all bland. And even so, there's a point when things start really happening. So the teenager goes down and her foot gets like pulled into the floor of the basement. This is when Griffin gets attacked by the tree. And I believe this is when Maddie/Carol Ann gets like taken or something.
Yeah,
but
before
the parents are at a dinner.
No, you're gonna get in that cage again. Yeah, you've already had 6 hours last time. I hope
all
you
right,
learned your
let's
lesson.
move on from the cage.
Right. No, we're not gonna move on to the cage. The cage is set up. So we get that. We mentioned Maddie, right? Maddie.
Yeah, Madison.
No,
Maddie.
Kendra. Kendra
right,
is the teenager. And we mentioned that she's like a bit of a biatch, right? And she's not happy being there. She's talking to her friends on the phone, like, I can't believe we gotta live here, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And now because Sam Rockwell's lost his job, she can't have a phone. And she really goes on about her phone. And he was like, well, why don't you get a part-time job? And then he can afford a phone. And she goes to her mum, she's like, well, I'll get a part-time job when you get a job. And I was like, the disrespect here is through the roof. So it's like at this point, Sam Rockwell decides to go out. He goes to like a hardware store or something to buy something.
Yeah, because there's a squirrel going into Griffin's room. So he goes to get a squirrel trap.
As you've mentioned, Griffin's scared of everything. That includes squirrels.
Yeah.
He's scared of squirrels. Yeah, because he says, there's no way I'm sleeping up in that room while that squirrel is in there. Forget the clown. Forget the static closet. All that kind of thing. And he goes there. So we've got Sam Rockwell at the store. He's at the till. First card, declined. Second card, declined. Luckily, the third one goes through. So we've just seen he's used 3 cards. 2 of them have been declined. Finally, the last one goes through. He's only buying like 1 item. And of course, they're so poor that he goes into the parking lot and freaks out in his brand new 4x4 vehicle. So he's got this giant house and his off-road 4x4, the man, he's at a low ebb. He's at a low ebb. What I would say, whereas the family kind of like most of the characters in this or whatever, Sam Rockwell was the one I felt he made the family seem like, okay, this is a real family unit. I do think he's a good actor. I've seen him in a couple of good things before, Moon, Choke, kind of like alternative films, and I feel like out of everyone, he was the best one in the family. You seem like you're not agreeing, because you don't like the teen daughter, you don't like Griffin, you know, kind of like writing off Carol Ann, the fake Carol Ann. Then you just got the mother, and then you got left with Sam Rockwell. So who is the best in the family?
No, well, I just don't.
It's the writing, right?
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy any of them, and that includes Mr. Rockwell as Eric. But with this one, it wasn't so much like, oh, the acting is terrible.
No.
I couldn't really tell how the performances were because I found the characters quite annoying.
There is one part which I did like and I did laugh, and it's when his cards getting declined. And I'm not sure if this was in the script or ad-libbed, but Sam Rockwell talking to the Till Monkey, and he's like, "Hey, nice apron, you in the union?" Like kind of thing, the kind of thing that you've just seen like a comedy movie almost. I liked his delivery kind of thing. But as I mentioned, he gets into his 4x4 because, you know, he's so poor, and he's kind of like banging on the steering wheel, isn't he? Because he can't believe that he's in a situation. So what does he do? He goes out and buys pizza for everybody. He buys jewelry for his wife. He gets his, you know, annoying brat daughter the new phone. And he also buys Griffin some kind of like toy, the drone.
Yeah.
Is that where he gets him the drone? And yeah.
I noticed though he didn't get Maddie/Carol Ann anything.
Maybe she's so young that she just wouldn't have...
Maybe the pizza was just for her because she's the only one who partakes.
She was asking for pizza, I believe, in the movie. So that's probably what...
And she doesn't like it either. He's like, how's the pizza? And she's like, not very good. And walks away.
Yeah. It's after this. And obviously, like, the mother's been told, don't get a job. But then he's gone out here because his male ego, his male pride is hurting. So it's like, I'm just going to spend or, you know, go onto credit again and just spend it all on this kind of useless stuff. That was a kind of a dumb decision.
Yeah, this is my thing. I didn't like the character, and I also felt like, obviously, the original family from the first two films, let's say,
the
dad is...
They return.
Yeah, the dad is funny.
They're very good, yeah.
You know, and I felt like they were trying to do that with the dad in this one, but I just found him kind of annoying. Like, he makes a lot of dumb decisions like that. And then when stuff is happening, he's like really like, oh no, I don't think this is happening, kind of.
Yeah, the Freeling,
so obvious.
The Freeling family in the first two are much more relatable and enjoyable than this Rockwell lot, and that is probably credit to Steven Spielberg because he does that family dynamic like really well, and the actor is just fantastic doing that as well. So after this, Sam Rockwell and his wife, who did you call them again? Eric and Amy. Mm-hmm. They've been talking about this dinner party that they're going to be going to, and you brought up the point during watching.
Yeah, I still don't know to this day. To this day. To this
Day.
moment.
from 2 days ago.
Yeah, I still don't know who these people were because I assumed, because Amy says, oh, I don't want to go, it's going to be a bore, we don't even know these people, and you know, Eric's saying something about, oh yeah, but one of them has a company, they might be looking for people, whatever. So I was like, okay, they must be going to a dinner party to meet their new neighbours.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from it, yeah.
Seems like the only logical explanation. But then when they're there, these people are, you know, wealthier than our poor family. And
you know, he's pulled up in his new 4x4.
Exactly.
The family probably look out the windows going, oh, look at these poor down and outs.
And they do essentially say, they're like, oh yeah, that part of town's like a bit
more rundown, or
not as nice.
Less affluent.
Oh, sorry. Have we overstepped our mark? Did we speak out of turn? And again, like, the whole thing seemed kind of pointless, except for the fact that this is the point in the film where the family find out that their property was built on top of an old graveyard.
And this is a big problem. See, I don't mean a big problem for the family. What I mean is a big problem in terms of the way the storytelling is going. Before we just go back to the dinner party, they've left Kendra at home to kind of babysit the two youngers, and while she's there, she's on her new phone and it's glitching. You know,
I think this is when all that stuff I said happens. She falls. Yeah,
that comes after. But before, at simultaneous, when they're at the dinner party and she's babysitting, she's on the sofa. Her phone is glitching, and so we have Sam Rockwell and his wife. Then they reveal where they're living, And the dinner party guests are all, as you say, they reveal that it was built on a cemetery. And they're all kind of, it's all kind of like just kind of given away in a blasé manner, like everyone knows this. And it's almost done also in a kind of comedic way as well, rather than in the original where it was like, god damn, these people who are just raising buildings and building new places for cheap without giving a damn about, you know, history and what is there, which in this point was, you know, a cemetery. Also in the original, Carol Ann they'd already been through a lot, the family, and then Carol Ann had already been taken into the TV, and then it's revealed that the house has been built on the cemetery. And in this one, it's like, oh, yada yada yada, we're going through a bad time, we don't have any money, my family, you know, not happy to live here, we're going to a dinner party now, we're just being told this. And once they're told, they just go back to the house, and it's almost like, oh my god, Griffin's in a tree, because they pull up and Griffin's in the tree and he gets dropped down. The girl, as you say, has been pulled through in the garage, some muddy, which is obviously it goes back to like the originals as well, because that happens in those. And
this is when Carol Ann has been Maddie has been taken. So she has like a stuffed animal or something, and when the closet finally opens,
Maddie's taken to the closet.
Griffin is too scared, so he kind of ditches her, leaves her in the room. He gets taken by a tree, and Maddie starts, you know, going to retrieve her stuffed toy. And the further into the closet she goes, obviously, as we know, she gets drawn into this other dimension. And
we see the CGI beings in there, multiple of them. So the parents come home and they've been told all this. Obviously the teenage daughter's kind of
oh, sorry, just really quickly,
out.
Before Maddie's been taken, of course, we also have the moment, as you said, disappointing with the TV in the hands, but that's the bit when Maddie says, they're here.
Yeah,
and
an iconic line in horror history.
It couldn't have been more just like, if you hadn't seen the original, that would mean absolutely nothing to you. You'd just be like, oh, okay, they're here, cool.
It was so tacked on.
Bad.
They made a right pig's ear of it. It wasn't. If you hadn't seen the original, you wouldn't even know that was some famous iconic scene.
That's what I'm saying,
in film history whatsoever. And when she turns around and says they're here, I'm not going to blame the little youngster or anything like that. It's obviously not her fault. But there is something to be said. I did write early on that I feel like they haven't taken any care in the casting of Maddie Carol Ann, because Heather O'Rourke, she's quite special, isn't she, in those original movies. And I also think just not having the blonde girl as well to stand out from everybody else, like just giving her dark hair like the rest of them. I mean, Griffith's strawberry blonde, Maddie's whatever. I don't remember what everyone else has, but her with her iconic blonde hair and just the way that she was, everything about her was, you could tell that she just had something more about her. And the little actress in this, she's a very good actress.
I thought she was good, yeah.
She is good. But
how can you compare, really? Yeah.
Everything is just slightly below, but particularly the TV scene is just such a nothing. It's just such a nothing. When Sam Rockwell and his wife have been told at the dinner party, they come home and they're told by the family, like the other two kids, what's been going on. And it's not like, there's no build to anything, just like, oh my god, we can't call the police because the police aren't going to believe us because the wife wants to call the police. He's like, how about we just call like a paranormal investigative team? And previously the middle daughter has been watching this TV show where this house is clean. So they've also replaced Tangina, the tiny little funny voiced clairvoyant woman who's iconic, with a fake Zach Bagans.
Yeah. So I think actually the paranormal team are... It's part of the university that Amy went to or something. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, when I went here, you guys were like kind of the weirdos, and we have the lead paranormal lady who's like, we still are. But again, just replacing, as you said, again, you hated franchise. I hate the word iconic because you have to use it so often, but it's the word it is. Tangina is that, and this trio plus the fake Zach Bagans just did not make up for for that
And again,
whatsoever.
we're going back to the clowns now. One clown, way better than 4 clowns. One Tangina, better than an entire investigative paranormal team, plus the TV paranormal investigator together.
It was very much like I think Insidious instead. When
I've literally got that.
Oh.
So yeah, when they go to the office, the investigative team is extremely Insidious.
And when they come
movie.
in, because they're like setting up cameras everywhere and stuff, very much, Insidious style.
Yeah, like Lin Shaye and Lee Wan-el
Yeah.
and the bigger guy with the beard. Yeah, it's completely the same. They've probably taken that, to be fair, from something else. But still, we then go home, and there is one, again, half decent bit when Sam Rockwell, he's at the sink and he throws up a bunch of worms. That's kind of disgusting. Throwing up worms is gross, obviously. There's also, of the paranormal team, we've got Niall's ex-wife from Frasier. She's leading it. We have got the skeptical guy. He's skeptical of the family, isn't he? Because the younger guy, Boyd, because he asks Griffin, he's like, oh, it'd be a great way for a family who are kind of like down and out and in financial trouble to like fake a paranormal haunting and like sell their story.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks, that they're lying or all that kind of thing. And then you also just have what it seems, unfortunately it just seems, token black character, because she's just there for no reason.
She actually doesn't.
She doesn't do anything.
She doesn't say anything.
Doesn't do anything.
She just kind of hovers around the scenes when it's
you could
so
airbrush her out
random.
and it would make zero difference.
It was
to the
really
film.
weird. I was like, you could have split up what the guy aide character is doing with her to actually give her something to do rather than literally just have her there.
Yeah, it was completely pointless. Once they get into the house, I'm gonna have to sort this kitty out. One of the first things, or the first thing that happens once the paranormal investigative team get to the house, is they want to try to communicate with, what's her fake name again? Maddie, through the television, and we instantly just hear Maddie through the television.
Mommy.
And they're all talking to her, and all of a sudden she kind of like manifests into a shadow, and the shadow like runs through the house, goes upstairs towards the closet. And we get jump scare because Sam Rockwell follows her up the stairs. And of course, once he gets to the closet, little Maddie, fake Maddie, staring into the corner. And it turns around, it's got a demon face. And we get a big, loud noise. Again, there's like no panache to this. It's just your typical jump scares, loud noises. There's no build up. So there's no believability to the build up. Like I say, we moved into a house. Regular family stuff happens. We go to a dinner party, we hear the story, we come home, and oh my god, we just believe everything and go with it.
Yeah, there was a little bit of Maddie having like, the conversations and Griffin being like, who are you talking to? But even that was like, this is lacking the Spielberg touch, because...
And Toby Hooper, yeah.
Griffin, right from the first moment he walks in on Maddie, like, having a conversation with someone he can't see, he's like, who are you talking to? I was like, why would you be scared straight away?
Some of the dialogue
it just
is
doesn't make
horrible in
any
this.
sense.
Yeah.
Like, so many little kids have imaginary friends. Surely you'd just be like, who are you talking to? And then, like, the longer it goes on and the weirder the things she says, then you can start getting creeped out. But the fact that he was, like, instantly creeped out again, I was like, this character is annoying.
So the lad, the guy paranormal investigator, he's the one that's like skeptical of the family, so kind of like questions Griffin on the stairwell. It's at this point that we enter fake Zach Bagans, the TV personality paranormal investigator that Kendra watches on television with her friends, and he got his own like catchphrase of "this house is clean," something like that, right? So he comes in, and then we get like attacked on for no reason. It turns out that fake Zach Bagans and Niall's ex-wife from Frasier have previously been in a relationship, and there's banter. Did you enjoy the banter?
No.
Neither did I. I did not. It was so lame.
Yeah.
It was so
Their
lame
whole,
and cliche.
like, relationship thing. I think the only reason is because right at the end, there has to be someone to care beyond a certain extent that he's, volunteering to essentially sacrifice himself. Because apart from that, I don't really know why they put this in.
Yeah, like I said, completely tacked on. The fake Zach Bagans guy is Carrigan Burke. So yeah, Burke. They kind of like seem to refer to him. And the Niles' ex-wife is Dr. Brooke. Dr. Brooke Powell. We've got Dr.
Brooke
Brooke.
and Burke.
Yeah, Brooke and Burke, who were previously a couple in their younger years, right? And they got together too young. We were too young, man. Stuff happens. We weren't mature enough, and now here we are. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Back together to solve this mystery.
My favourite part now comes up where Mr. Burke, he's like, oh, that hole in the ceiling which has appeared, by the way, that's the way out.
It's a dimension.
Yeah. And so he came in just, in his trench coat and a leather, like a big leather
Satchel.
bag thing. You assume with all his bits and bobs in it.
But no.
And he opens it and it's literally just a rope. It's just, he's brought a whole bag for a rope. It's like he knew.
Yeah, it's almost like... So, in all of his TV episodes, has he just done the rope plan?
Every single time.
Yeah, you just throw a rope
Does this
into
work
this
all the time?
paranormal dimension hole.
Oh, God.
And it will be taut just from throwing it in there.
So silly.
So, of course, I bring my rope. And we've also then got... Griffin gets out his drone. I also mentioned, when they go... Before fake Zach Bagans gets there... and the family are in the investigative office, we've got Griffin, who's been scared of everything. And he says to the lead lady investigator, Niles' ex-wife,
Brooke,
you just have to get my sister back. He's kind of like blaming himself because he left her alone during the attack. And all of a sudden now, he's getting his drone out at home. After Fingerbob's got his rope out, he gets his drone out, and of course, fake Zach Bagans tries to like maneuver the drone, but because he's old, it just bumps straight into the wall. Bit of comedy there. Did you like that gentle comedy?
Yeah, he knew
old people
that
are useless.
The only piece of equipment he would need was a big long rope, but he cannot work a drone. So yeah, Griffin takes hold of the drone. Now we get the drone going into the other dimension, and apart from the fact that it was very CGI.
Yeah.
I quite liked this.
Yeah, I did see your reaction live to that, and you're right. For a CGI world, it was pretty good.
It was just everywhere, limbs and hands and faces, and it felt very like claustrophobic-y, and I thought they did that quite well.
Yeah, not wrong. Although you still can't. You can't do any better than the real thing.
No.
You just can't.
No.
Yeah. So he drives his drone, flies his drone into the closet, as you say, and we also see that the rope is in there, and it's all...
Which he's kind of following along, and they're trying to get eyes, as they say, on Maddie.
And I'm not sure if there's much of anything else goes on, but Griffin just decides that he's brave now. So he just runs into the closet and like jumps into the other dimension to go and rescue Maddie.
So they actually they spot Maddie in the other dimension with the drone. But, as we know, these spirits that are in there, they want Maddie to lead them into the light. So when they notice this drone is in there, there's a moment where one of them kind of like whacks it and it gets knocked down and they can't use it anymore. And whilst the adults are all arguing about who's going to go into the other dimension to go and get Maddie, Griffin's already gone up and gone in.
Because Griffin's his mother's Superboy. Remember the Superboy bit?
Superboy.
You were my Superboy.
Yeah.
And now he turns into Superboy, forgets that he's scared of clowns and squirrels and attics, but he's not scared of other dimensions. He's not scared of other dimensions. So then, also the rope fails. Like the rope, because they've got the mum, and Niles' ex-wife is holding onto the rope, and stuff like this. Well, again,
these otherworldly spirits don't want the kids to leave via the rope, so they're tugging at the rope so that it comes off of the hook in the real world.
But no matter, because Maddie and Griffin just fall out of the hole anyway.
Yeah,
it's
Griffin
like
they
didn't have to do anything.
Maddie, and then
really convinced. You just come with me.
She's like, I can't.
He won't let me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all very rushed. Like every significant part from the original in this is rushed.
Yeah.
Completely rushed. So once now we did kind of not forget, but there's also a part where Boyd, the skeptical paranormal investigator, he kind of like punches a hole in the wall or something, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. And you really laugh when he's being
yeah, that was so
like
silly.
tugged against the wall.
So it's in the closet
Uh-huh.
when they're like, oh yeah, we think this might be another dimension or whatever, and he's got his like screwdriver and he makes a hole in it, and next thing you know, the whole thing falls through. And he goes in to like look for a screwdriver, and clearly one of these spirits gets him and is just like.
Yeah.
I did it so hard I got my hair out.
In isolation, it looks
so
like it
funny.
does look like a comedy scene, that bit.
Yeah.
I did quite like it. It is a good idea to have the drill then coming back at him and getting closer and closer. But I was saying to you at the time, I want to see that drill penetrate his skull.
Yeah, because obviously I'd never seen this one before. I actually thought it was going to go straight into his head, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't do it. I was like,
Yeah. They pull all the punches in this. They pull all the punches. So once now we've got them all back, there's also been a part before all the seemingly the kids are saved. Fake Zach Baggins is talking to Kendra because she's in awe. She's like, I can't believe that fake Zach Baggins is in my house. And there's this thing that's apparently happened to his leg. So he's like, let's just get this out the way. I'm going to show you my leg. He's Irish, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he lifts up his leg, and his leg is like, it's seen better days, basically. And he says that it happened, during a particularly fierce battle with a spirit. And then Griffin, I believe, asked him about a scar on his forehead. He's like, I'll tell you after we get all this done, if you manage to stay alive. So he freaks out little Griffin by saying, you might die, kind of thing. But everyone's back now. So the family, they get outside into their car. Their nice 4x4, by the way, which they can somehow afford on a no-person salary because mum's not working. Sam Rockwell's not working. And they've also got a mortgage, I assume, in this massive house. So we think we're getting a happy ending. And Griffin's like, you promised you would tell me. You would tell me where you got your scar from. He's like, well, I was doing a scene. I was on my spot, and always beware the boom mic operator because he dropped the boom mic and he scarred me. Did you enjoy the gentle comedy again?
No, that was so dumb. That was really dumb.
But yeah, that's a faux ending. It's not quite ending yet, and the car gets dragged back into the house, and now in a bit of repetitiveness, Maddie also gets dragged back up towards the closet, which we've already seen. Also, she's hanging on at every doorway, kind of thing, and Sam Rockwell goes and follows her. He manages to hold on to her, and fake Zach Baggins decides to sacrifice himself and go in to the other world.
Yeah, he's like, they're never going to let her go because they want to be led into the light and she can do it. And he says, well, I can do it. I can do it too. So I'm going to save this family and I'm going to go in there. Now, I thought that this was him saying essentially, because as we know, once you go into the light, you can't come back, right? That's the whole point. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, so he's going to sacrifice himself. But we get the paranormal team with their little GPS tracker of him. Like, can you see him? Can you see him? And he just turns up again.
Yeah, he turns up red on the GPS tracker. And then the movie kind of does end then because we get the family, Sam Rockwell's family. They're looking at a new house, a new residence with a new realtor. And they look around your son of disgust there. You can...
It's just one of those, like, again, throwaway cliche endings to a crap horror movie. They go in, the realtor shows them around, and she's like, oh, look at all this character, and look at this old tree in the backyard. And she turns around, and lo and behold, they've already driven off. They're like, ish, don't think so.
Yeah. God, almost like eye-roll inducing, cringe-worthy kind of stuff. And then the credits do roll, so we're at the end, but not before an Easter egg. Not only have we seen fake Zach Baggins return on their, GPS heat-seeking
GPS tracker
technology,
thing, yeah.
GPS tracker. Like, he's still there. He's now back in the real world because apparently the rules don't pertain to him. No. He's back. He's doing a show. And who has he brought along to do the show with him? His ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, whatever she was. And she misses her cue for the opening. So they have more bands like, I can't believe you missed your cue. Oh, I thought when you said this, no, no. And then it actually ends. That was horrible.
my
That is your typical, Hollywood lame ending.
That is not a horror movie Easter egg.
It isn't. Nothing about this was really horror, and you're already onto a loser going up against Steven Spielberg. I mean, Steven Spielberg by himself, but then also with Tobe Hooper. I mean, just forget it. And if you can believe it, baby, this film is barely 10 years old. Came out in 2015. It's 2025 now. What's in the works?
No.
A Poltergeist remake.
No. Oh.
Just more depressing news. So this is far from an absolutely terrible film, but it's not good. If you're gonna watch Poltergeist, watch the first one. Watch the '82 version from Spielberg and Hooper. Far better. Everything in the movie is better. There isn't one thing that they've improved on or explored something new. It's just all the same but worse. Far worse. So let's move on to the number 2 pick of the week, Poltergeist 3, something that is in the original classic
with
canon
Heather
of these
O'Rourke
movies. Yes, with Heather O'Rourke.
Carol Ann.
As well as Heather O'Rourke. We also get Nancy Allen from RoboCop. Yep, Officer Anne Lewis. We also get Lara Flynn Boyle, of course, of Twin Peaks fame. And we get Tom Skerritt, Dallas from Alien. So it's quite a built up
when
cast list
the opening
here.
credits are coming on and all these names are popping, you're like, oh my god! I'm not the type of person who knows many actors by their names. I know them more by faces. So I was like, who?
Yeah,
What?
you always do that.
And then I was like, ah.
It's Officer Anne Lewis. It's Dallas.
But she is so different in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
it actually took me a second to recognise her.
This came out the same year as RoboCop. Yeah, because they've already given her the shortish hair.
Yeah, she's got... Yeah,
She's
that's
much
the thing.
more feminine in this.
She doesn't even look like style... Like hair and stuff isn't that different. She hasn't suddenly got super long hair or anything. But it's just... she's obviously kind of the badass cop in RoboCop. And in this, she's, the art curator...
Yeah, this came out a year after RoboCop, so maybe she's growing her hair out a bit more. She is a total bitch in this. Yeah, right. So I was actually, after watching Poltergeist, we watched Poltergeist 2 first. After loving that, I was really excited to see this because I hadn't seen it yet. It was okay.
Yeah, I didn't really like this film. I
wasn't great.
I didn't. This
had its moments.
My God, this felt 80s.
Yeah, it's an aged movie.
This one slaps you in the face with the 80s. Like, even the stuff that
examples.
Like Laura's character said, she's like, that is totally radical, and yeah, it would be if we could do that. And having the like futuristic building that the man is in charge of.
Tom Skerritt. Yeah.
I was like, this is like choking on its 80s-ness, which can be nice, but like I feel like for the Poltergeist it didn't quite have it for me, because I loved in the first 2 films, I like the hominess, and they're going out planting flowers and all of this, and I also felt like it was in this one we don't have Carol Ann with her parents. She's with her auntie
and uncle
and her auntie's new husband and husband's daughter. So not even her auntie's daughter.
So Tom
She's
Skerritt,
a stepmom.
Tom Skerritt and Nancy Allen are together, and Lara Flynn Boyle is their daughter. And Carol Ann has been shipped off to Chicago to live with them because her family... Well, the real reason is that the original actors didn't want to return for a third one. Because in this one we only get Heather O'Rourke and Tangina back. So they've shipped off their little Carol Ann to Chicago so that she doesn't keep getting affected by the haunted houses that they keep moving into. They think if they move her away, she's not going to be affected by this being the youngest one. So that's why she's here in this Chicago high rise.
It's not really very well explained why her parents
not.
aren't with her, is it? It's
No.
never really. They're just like, oh, just accept it. Just take it. This is what we're giving you. And yeah, it's not great. And it also felt strange to me that
We had. Oh, sorry.
yeah, that the auntie was way less, loving than her husband, who isn't even related to Carol Ann, but he was totally enamoured of her.
Yeah, well, he's lovely, Tom Skerritt, and I guess that Nancy Allen, as the auntie, is kind of already caught wind of what's been going on with her immediate family and doesn't want, as she puts it, this little brat bringing her troubles over to Chicago. And Lara Flynn Boyle, my daughter.
Oh, and Heather O'Rourke in this. I mean, it's so sad that she was so unwell and stuff.
Misdiagnosed. That's why she has the...
Yeah, it's just awful. And you can see it, but my God, she does a great job.
I think she's the best in this. I think she's better in this and... Well, better. I just think she's improving as a little actress. And I just feel in this one she just puts in a great performance.
Yeah, she is fantastic. And I loved her relationship with all of them. Because again, she's in this one, the difference is in the family dynamic is she's kind of the outsider. Like the one person she's related to isn't that keen on having her there. Yeah, Skerritt is loves her and happy to have her.
Even Lara Flynn Boyle, she's on the phone to her friends and, little Carol Ann is eavesdropping. And Lara Flynn Boyle was saying, I've got my little brat but not real relative, I don't even like her kind of thing.
Yeah, and of course she seems to be just saying this to impress her friends or whatever, and she's like, oh, I didn't mean it, when she realises she heard it. And she does seem to care for Carol Ann, but equally it's just it's the first time when Carol Ann seems more alone, I suppose.
Yeah, because in the first two everyone is doing everything they can to get the little Carol Ann back, whereas in this one, like you say, it's more just she kind of left to her own devices almost, isn't she? Yeah. So we also say it's Tom Skerritt and Nancy Allen as the couple. They well, at least Tom Skerritt works in the building that he lives in. He's like the building manager, so he lives there.
Yeah, both of them do. This building is weird. So this building that he's in charge of, I guess, it's apartments where people live, residential. It has a mall in it.
Yeah, well, it's the future.
His offices are in it. It's got a pool, which we later come to, and even Nancy Allen's art gallery.
Yeah, it's got an art gallery in the building.
Is in the building. So basically, they never have to leave the building. Only the kids when they go off to school.
It is almost predicting the future, though, because if you consider, before I moved in here, where we lived in my flat, you just walk outside, you've got the gym, you've got garden, you've got the supermarket, the mini supermarket, you've got a dry cleaners, you've got a cafe. So it's not completely, okay, we don't have an art exhibit, but everything else is there.
The only thing this building was missing to make it a small city within itself was apparently a school, because the kids do carpool and they go off, and this is when we get introduced as well to another character. It turns out that Carol Ann is going to a school gifted children with problems. It's very specific.
Yeah, and
not just gifted.
When she's being taken, when they're being driven to the school, and obviously you've got all the kids kind of having little arguments and little funny disagreements as kids do with Lara Flynn Boyle, because she's wants to go to a party or something like this, and she's got a crush in the front of the car, or someone that's outside when they pull up to the school, and the little kid is taking the mickey out of them. But when they're driving there, in the reflection of the window, we get a returning character from Poltergeist 2 in Kane, the guy Kane, but it's not Julian Beck, the original, because obviously Julian Beck also passed away during the making of Poltergeist 2, so we get a new Kane. And I think that Kane is if you're not going to go with otherworldly entities overtaking the house and terrorising the family, Kane's a really good character.
Yeah, no, obviously he's new in the second one. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. There's not enough Kane in this
film. I was glad he came back in this one, but again, I feel like there's something about this whole building. It's very 80s modern. Everything's mirrored and glass and cold, and it didn't have the same
it's literally freezing. Because all of the building is freezing over for some reason.
Yeah, that
which
too.
Again isn't really.
But I meant more like it feels it hasn't got the warmth of the colours and stuff.
It is, because like I say, with the mirror and reflections, it's just that kind of
windows,
that ice blue. You always get the feeling of that, don't you?
The whole film feels like chilly, whereas the first two have, again, the warmth and the garden to counterbalance, I think. And it makes what did you say the character was called, the old man?
Cain,
yeah. So in this third one, we already know that he's a bad character.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also get him, it's not as much of a dichotomy with the bright sunshine,
mm-hmm.
and then he brings rain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, this is a cold building and here's a cold man.
And he's essentially living in the mirrors.
Yeah,
reflections. All the bad entities are living in the mirrors. I didn't mind that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Living, because you've got to do something different if you are going to a high rise out of a family home, I guess. And having them live in the mirror is quite a good idea. When we get back to them driving to the school and Carol Ann sees Cain in a reflection, once that happens, we get Zelda Rubinstein as Tangina. She telepathically can tell this is happening. She's having tea in a rather nice, like a restaurant garden, but she's getting the vision, so she's pouring the tea, and she pours too much tea, and she's like, they're back. So Tangina knows that Cain has found little Carol Ann again, so she gets up, leaves tea with her friends, and she's darting off to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we get Zelda Rubinstein back and Tangina. You got Tangina and Carol Ann, two great characters, and Cain.
Yeah. And at this special school for gifted kids,
Dr. Seaton.
We have Dr. Seaton. It just sounds like Dr. Satan.
Exactly, that's why I keep saying Dr. Seaton.
Yeah, Dr.
It's like
Seaton.
House of a Thousand Corpses, yeah.
And he's a piece of work, really.
The actor, Mr. Fire.
Mm.
I mean, he's hamming it. He's hamming it up.
Yeah. So this guy, basically,
he
says that Carol Ann has an ability to, falsely suggest things to people, kind of like a group hypnosis type thing. And so nothing that she's said is actually true. She's just very good at convincing people around her that it is, to the point where, he's doing something with one of those two-way mirrors, and he's speaking to Carol Ann on one side of it and some people watching from the other side, and we get Cain, I believe, or just a spirit or something, is in Carol Ann's view, and the doctor can see it in the reflection only.
It's a hand, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a hand, and it picks up a mug and it throws it at this two-way mirror and smashes it. And then he's just like, she convinced me that I saw this and convinced you to smash the mirror.
Mystery solved. Yeah. He's living in a delusion, isn't he?
And he continues like this throughout the film. He's very much like Carol Ann's little troublemaker.
Yeah.
And she's lying, and she's like, yeah, I've had enough, basically.
Whereas otherwise, you have to go and fully believe in the paranormal if it's not Carol Ann suggesting things.
But again, it's one of those silly things where sometimes people make the explanations that even more ridiculous than what they're trying to be like, no, well, that can't be.
Yeah. When we get back, so after we've been introduced now to Dr. Seaton and the school that Carol Ann is in, Carol Ann is obviously, she's been put under hypnosis while this is going on, because Dr. Seaton's working on her through hypnosis, and he's also making her relive past traumas, and then he wakes her up and she doesn't remember, he's just doing it for scientific sake. So when we get back to the high-rise building, we've got Tom Skerritt and Nancy Allen, and they are off to a party in the building. They're holding a party in the building, and they leave their daughter Lara Flynn Boyle upstairs, and she's gonna go and try and traipse off to a party kind of thing.
She's supposed to be looking after Carol Ann, but Carol Ann is if you want to go to this party, which by the way is in the same building as well.
Exactly. Yeah, everything takes place in the building. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll cover for you. So Lara's like, yeah, all right.
Before the party starts, we've also had, because we've mentioned that Tom Skerritt works in the building, he's been shown by the maintenance people to like a boiler room or something like this, and there's ice all over the boiler, things like this. So when they get down to the party,
and mirrors are cracking throughout the building, and
one of the party guests, one of the guys that lives in the building, he walks up to Tom Skerritt, he's like, hey, you turn off the heating in here. So like we're getting to know that it's not just the boiler that's freezing over, it's the entire building. And now, while they're away, as I mentioned, Lara Flynn Boyle, she wants to go and party. So she's like on the phone, blah, 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 blah.
Lamest party ever, by the way.
When she decides to leave for the party, though, Carol Ann, she's attacked through the mirror and like lifted up against the mirror.
That was pretty cool.
I think is it at this point that it's evil looking Carol Ann looking back at herself, because we have like Carol Ann in the mirror with this kind of like pretty creepy face looking back at herself, and the effect of Carol Ann being lifted against the mirrored wardrobe and stuff. Yeah, it is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a good bit. Carol Ann, I think if that... I've written here, Demon Carol Ann is in the reflection. And then we got Tangina then comes through again telepathically and tells her to smash the mirror. So she does that. And obviously with, the parents leaving the apartment, they're going to think that the little kid is just running wild and smashing mirrors and things like this. It doesn't actually come back to that, but that's what I thought. That's where I thought it was going to go. They're going to blame little Carol Ann for like smashing the mirror and stuff like that. But also telepathically, she also after that she then calls Dr. Seaton Tangina and tells him pretty much that you have to, like, what are you doing with her basically, or something like this, right?
But he thinks it's a prank call from Carol Ann. I was like, how is like again? No, Dr. Seaton, like, what an idiot. And in the meantime, the party that Lara's gone off to...
Yeah, they're on a covert mission to party, because they don't just get to party, they're on a covert mission, her and her friends. They've got to come...
Well, there's a reason, because I said she turns up and she's like, what the hell is going on here? Like, where's the music at and stuff? Turns out the dude's parents decided to stay in. So they're like, well, this...
Bummer.
This blows.
Yeah.
And someone's like, well, hang on, isn't there like a pool in this building? And Lara, of course, being Skerritt's daughter, has the keys to everything and also knows all the like patterns of the cameras and stuff. So
she must have really been studying those cameras to know when it moves here, when it moves there, when it da-da-da, yeah.
So this little group of teens... they make their way to the pool area. They scurry under the sight of the cameras. And in the meantime, because Carol Ann is running away and she's gone to the emergency stairwell, which has set off an alarm. So the security guy who's supposed to be watching CCTV has also conveniently now been called off to go and check that out. And, there's a whole thing of Lara going in with her bow. And,
her crush.
Her crush.
Yeah.
And they, like, fuss with the playback and all of this stuff.
Her crush is a bad influence. He's like, beer.
Oh, yeah, this bit was actually quite funny.
Beer?
He was just like, she's like, no. He's like, yeah. No. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But I noticed they came back with mostly Coke.
There was beer there. What I was noticing was like beer, and Coke.
I saw mostly Coca-Cola.
Anyway. I was looking for the beer because I want to see what make it was, what brand.
Anyway, they're going to party hard with some Coca-Cola and crisps in the pool.
Actually, it does remind me when I said that. When we saw them going with the crisps and the Coke, I was like, this sounds like a kind of carring party from her growing at her youth. Yeah, no beer, unlike me.
Well, my parents actually kept me on a leash, so it's a slight difference. Anyway, going back to it, we also get this weird thing now with Carol Ann, poor little baby. She's in the stairwell thing, and everything sort of gets that iciness, and it seems like she can't escape, doesn't it? I think she does eventually find another door, and she
ends
leaves.
up in the car park.
But the problem was, with Lara leaving the party at the guy's apartment and going to the pool, is that Carol Ann wasn't even able to contact her anymore, because when she calls, she's like, oh, is Lara there? Of course, she's told, no, she's not. But luckily, with Lara fussing about, as we said, trying to fake the CCTV footage, she sees...
Spots little Carol Ann in the CCTV, yeah.
Carol Ann wandering about in her little red onesie.
Yeah.
In the car park area of this building. Again, the building has it.
Yeah, so once they notice that, obviously they have to go down there.
Laura's not too pleased either.
No,
she's
of course, because she's ruining the party, man.
Yeah.
We've just got this beer, we've just got this crush, we've got this cola.
Yeah.
You know, we're all going to be hopped up
20 cans of Coke
We're
to
going to be
drink.
hopped up on sugar.
Yeah.
My crush is here. We've been kissing a little bit, and now little Carol Ann is running around, like I say, in the car park. So they have to go down to the car park, obviously, to go and get Carol Ann. When they get in there, Carol Ann, she's in a giant puddle, being pulled into the ground by real hands this time, not CGI hands. And they both run over. Laura Flynn Boyle and her crush run over, and crush is like sucked into there. Also,
in, yeah.
Laura Flynn Boyle is also pulled in there. They all get pulled in. And I've written the real hands are far more effective than the CGI. They just are. Yeah. When there's I don't know if there's anything in between to kind of like really go on in this, but now they've been pulled down into the underground puddle. When the crush reemerges covered in ice through the pool, and he's like running around.
That is so funny, yeah. So the security guy has noticed the remaining group of teens in the pool. So he calls Mr. Skerritt. You know, he's big man in charge.
He's got to leave his party now. All the parties being ruined. I don't like it. No, Officer Winston would not agree with this from Cabin Fever.
I don't think Skerritt was particularly enjoying the art opening, though.
Probably not, no.
Anyway, so he goes down there, and they say, you know, the two, Lara and her crush, have disappeared. I keep calling her Lara. That is what you said. She was
Laura
called,
Flynn
right?
Boyle,
Yeah, okay.
The actress. That's the actress's name, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Well, they've disappeared, and we, you know, no one knows where Carol Ann is either. And the next thing we see at the pool is the pool is frozen over.
Yep.
And the crush just kind of like bursts out of it. And he's frozen pretty solid as well. And he's kind of scurrying across the ice in his frozen set. Like,
it has to be seen to be believed, doesn't it? Yeah.
So funny.
You're never going to do it justice on this. You have to see it. It was, you know, it was certainly laughter inducing. And also when he kind of settles down, sitting against the wall with the ice, you can tell that it's kind of like this soft,
it
looked
more like goo.
It did look more like goo, yeah, more so than ice. That now Dr. Seaton, he shows at the building, and Nancy Allen, obviously, she's also had to leave the party. It's a little bit like the Poltergeist remake. We now just go kind of like full steam ahead. There's no more build up to anything. Just everything starts to happen to everybody. So we get Nancy Allen's character. She's like beginning to get pulled through a wall. Mm-hmm. She's starting to be pulled through a wall, but all of a sudden we can see Carol Ann on the other side of the wall. So it's now, instead of like Nancy Allen being pulled through, it's more like Nancy Allen's trying to pull Carol Ann back. But as she gets so close, it's that evil, demonic faced Carol Ann, that evil thing. So she lets her go.
Little Tangina.
Yeah, Tangina
steps in.
Has shown as well.
She's there.
She turns up.
The doctor's there. The two adults are there.
Yeah.
And we've also got, I don't remember how, but Lara shows up again as well.
Yeah, everybody shows up at this point. We
quickly see that Lara and her crush are not really who they should be.
Yeah, once they've been in through the puddle and back up through the ice, they have been changed into evil doppelgangers.
Yeah.
There was also, earlier on, there's an evil... Everyone seems to have an evil presence in the mirror world, because Tom Skerritt, like nothing's happened to Tom Skerritt during the whole movie. So it's even before the party, just walking down the corridor, and you see an evil Tom Skerritt kind of like looking back at himself, which I believe he even sees, or Nancy Allen sees herself in the mirror also. And she's like kind of...
The reflections basically don't always match up with the actions of the actual person. So yeah, there's, as you mentioned earlier, the mirrors in this have a huge role to play, and maybe that's why there's so many mirrors in this
Yeah.
in this building.
We also get the character Kane shows up a few times in the mirror as well. This movie could have used more Kane. I feel like the Poltergeist series, if you're gonna carry on, we mentioned in the previous review of the remake that they're just gonna remake it again. You can do just a whole movie based around Kane. That would be interesting to see. Such a good character, I think. But anyway, Tangina has showed, as you say. So now everyone is now believing what's going on. And Nancy,
well, except for the doctor.
Except for the doctor, obviously, yeah, Dr. Seaton.
He's still sceptical.
Yeah, because Dr. Seaton is now working his hypnotism on Lara Flynn Boyle's crush, whose name is Scott. And this is in Tangina's presence. And Tangina she's not too fond of Dr. Seaton and his methods.
But what I didn't understand was there was a point when essentially the two adults have to decide, are we going to trust Tangina or the doctor? Like, who do we think is more correct here and going to help us bring him back?
Nut job or scientist?
And
Essentially.
They end up going with Tangina.
Good choice.
Mm-hmm. But what I didn't understand at this point, I was like, why is the doctor even still here? Like, he just kind of tags along, being like, whoa, this is not right.
Because they go...
But I was like, just go home.
They go back to the car park, and Tangina starts to talk to Carol Ann through the puddle, and you've got Dr. Seaton just, like, kind of behind it, sceptical, like, just... Again, just blaming Carol Ann. How she got herself in that puddle. She's making you think that she's in this puddle, and now she's making me think that you think she's in the puddle.
And I was just thinking, I was like, look, they're not going to listen to you. You're not being listened to at all. Your wife's at home, with dinner ready. Yeah. Just go home.
I don't think he's got a wife. Does he mention he has a wife?
Yeah,
oh, he does.
When he takes the prank phone call, and his wife's like, "Where are you going?"
I'm surprised.
He's like, "Keep dinner warm for me."
I'm surprised he's managed to latch onto any woman. So as I just mentioned there, when Tangina's talking to Carol Ann in the puddle, he's just hovering in the background. We now get a bit where they're walking through the corridor, and Tangina's making this kind of like otherworldly speech about how this affects this affects this, and this in turn will affect all of us. And he's like, that's a load of crap, doesn't mean anything. He's just there to poo-poo absolutely everything. So now we've got Tangina talking to Carol Ann in the mirror, and they're kind of like, they're all there, and they're trying to like kind of coax her out. But so when I say everyone's there, Tom Skerritt's there, Nancy Allen's there, Lara Flynn Boyle's there, Tangina's there, Dr. Seaton is there. Everyone's trying to coax the mirror Carol Ann out. But Tom Skerritt jumps the gun, reaches in, pulls Carol Ann out, but it's not the real Carol Ann. Instantly, Tangina becomes mummified. No, sorry, Lara Flynn Boyle is not there, because when he pulls him out, Tangina becomes mummified, and out of her mummified body...
That's when
returns Lara Flynn Boyle.
That was really cool. Completely
that was amazing.
Random. I don't really know if it fits the film even.
Who cares?
But it was a really cool moment. Yeah, when her body is all decrepit and it just gets torn apart for Lara to reappear through.
And the way it breaks, everything about it is really, really well done.
Yeah.
I say, whether it belongs in a movie or not, it just doesn't really matter. I just want to see more. You're in the third one at this point, and we've got rid of most of the family. You can kind of just go any way that you want to. But when Tom Skerritt jumps the gun and pulls through the fake Carol Ann, and we see the mummified Tangina, it's all like, whoa, like, what's happened there kind of thing, isn't it? It's
and you're
really
also, oh my god,
blue.
Tangina's gone. What are they going to do now?
Yes, how can you get rid of Tangina? But maybe not. Yeah, at this point, and you can't blame her, Nancy Allen has had enough. She has absolutely had enough, and she's no two ways telling Tom Skerritt about it as well. My little troublesome niece, we should never have brought her here.
Which is a problem,
we need to send her away.
Tangina did say, you guys have to stick together, and the love you guys have for each other and for Carol Ann is the only thing that's going to save her.
The theme that sticks through from the first two movies, the family have to stick together and love will conquer all, and remains.
Mr. Skerritt thinks that he sees Carol Ann running through the building, so he draws his wife along with him.
Well, before this, Dr. Seaton, he goes after the mirror Carol Ann, and he falls down the elevator shaft and he's pushed by the now evil Lara Flynn Boyle, who's emerged from Tangina's mummified body.
And that's before we see her basically saying, "Oh yeah, they believed it."
Yeah.
So that's the first insight we get into her being the evil doppelganger.
Once Lara Flynn Boyle pushes Dr. Seaton down the elevator shaft and he lands kind of like this, like over the lift. Once she reemerges with her crush Scott, and they're both kind of like laughing, and randomly, and again I don't know why I put it in there, but I liked it. Scott pulls off part of Lara Flynn Boyle's cheek to reveal the kind of like demon-like body beneath the skin. Yeah.
Yeah, that also doesn't really seem to go anywhere after that.
No.
But,
now it's Tom Skerritt running after Carol Ann and Nancy following.
being pulled along by him. Yeah, so he's pulling Nancy along, even though she's like, "Oh, give up with this kid. Let's just get ourselves out."
This is when they end up in the chest freezer.
This is what I was going to say. They
walk-in freezer. Yeah.
They end up in a walk-in freezer. The
pigs.
animal carcasses start like moving about, coming to life.
Is it like a goose and a pig?
There's
a couple of pigs and a goose.
Things. I don't know, some carcasses.
Frozen pigs coming to life.
And then we get a body of like swirling, swishing water.
Again, like, why is all this happening? Yeah.
And it's not even from like the bottom or anything.
No, it's on the wall.
From the wall that's furthest from them, and it's coming towards them. They can't get out of the freezer. Obviously, they're like, "Oh my god, we're going to drown in this weird upright water." But then what happens? Tangina manages to get herself out from this other dimension and hand over her special necklace, which I think it's insinuated that the character from the second film has given to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, use this. And then that is the end of Tangina now. She's gone.
Yeah, she's been set free.
Yeah.
The spirit's free, and she said, you lot go and finish the job. I've done all that I can here. I've been mummified. I've had Lara Flynn Boyle burst out of me. I've come out of a sea of water, given you my necklace. You figure it out now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Tangina comes, and now we have Tom Skerritt and Nancy Allen. They're in the car park. They kind of think it's over. They think everything is over. You've got Tom Skerritt kind of like grabbing Nancy Allen's face, and she's all like, "Oh, I'm glad." But then all the cars in the car park are frozen, and they all come to life, and they start to come at them. The sprinklers come on, all this kind of stuff, and not long after,
goes at like kind of 100 miles an hour
does,
right at the end.
like
so it's
saying,
like you're not really sure why everything's happening, but it's happening, and there's a lot of frozen stuff.
I can tell you why it's happening. So I did previously mention that once we find Carol Ann in the car park and both the parties end, everything is kind of like just goes, like you said, at 100 miles per hour. It's because once we get to the part, especially in the car park, during the production, poor little Heather O'Rourke has passed away, and the director and a lot of people didn't want to carry on with the movie. They're like, there's no way that we should be finishing that now. But, the evil suits at MGM, all they think about is money. And like, we've already spent all this money, we got to finish the movie no matter what. So they just kind of like tacked on everything. It was all just rushed through so that they could just finish the movie and get the hell out of there and kind of like then try and process what has happened. So really, yeah, once again, like it wasn't need to be said before, but fuck all the corporate people. They're just non-feeling. They're completely non-feeling. But there, let's get back to the finishing of the movie.
Oh yeah, and also Tangina, when she hands over the necklace, she says something cryptic. She's
Outside
like,
in.
Yeah, which I was like, you could have been a bit more
outside in.
Obvious, couldn't you? And so Tom Skerritt's like, oh, that must mean that the spirit of Cain and whatever has control inside the building,
but not outside.
So they go out on the cage that they use to clean the windows.
Yeah, they go to the roof. Yeah, and they get the like you say. What do they actually call it? Because I've called it. They go to the building, get on the roof, and they get on a contraption for window cleaning.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, just that giant lift that goes up high rises. Yeah, they get onto that, and they manage to put themselves down outside their window in their block. And you got Tom Skerritt. Has he got a shovel? Where's he got his shovel from? Anyway, he's got a shovel, and he's trying to break in through the window because obviously Carol Ann is in there. He manages to get in. He falls in, and then fake Carol Ann comes to the window and starts talking to Nancy Allen. Nancy Allen kind of like half apologizes for being such a biatch, saying I don't want to get. I didn't want you around, all this kind of thing. But then Nancy Allen...
fakey one is trying to get the necklace off of her.
Yeah.
She's like, just give me the necklace.
Just give me it, and he's going to let everyone else go, and I'll just stay here as Carol Ann, and I'll let just Cain have me. Yeah. Carol Ann, we can tell that Carol Ann is the fake Carol Ann because she's pleading so much for the necklace that Nancy Allen has, and she's been incredibly selfless. Like, I'm just going to stay here. Kane only really wants me, and if Kane gets me and I get the necklace, he's just going to let the rest of your family live on, which is what you want. But then she quickly reveals itself to be the evil Carol Ann again. Nancy Allen now goes into the building looking around for Tom Skerritt. Their apartment is frozen. Kane now comes out and reveals himself. We finally get some Kane in real life rather than like in reflection. And she quickly decapitates him, and the decapitation is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's rushed because when you compare the decapitation and then the severed head on the floor to the mummified Tangina with Laura Flynn Boyle breaking out of it, you can tell that gears have changed here, and they're like, oh yeah, just rush and finish this film.
Doesn't help anyway, because another version of Kane
shows
up laughing anyway.
Manifest so. Because he's still not going to the light. And you're wrong, because Tangina now does come back. And she says, I have the knowledge and the power. And she tells Nancy Allen that I'm going to now finally sacrifice myself. And she takes Kane's hand like a child, leads him into the light, sacrifices herself. And very quickly, the family come back through the mirror. And you got Tom Skerritt holding Carol Ann, but it's not Heather O'Rourke. It's just a stand-in.
I mean, it's obvious because you never see her face.
Yeah, so. and then we get the classic lines of like, she did it, she saved us, Finn, or is it? Because then we cut to the outside of the building in Chicago, some lightning hits it, and ha 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 ha, we hear Kane cackling before we go to the credits. A very rushed ending. An extremely, extremely rushed ending. I've never noticed an ending where I've noticed so much that it's just been, let's get through this and finish it.
Yeah, all the sort of like groundwork they lay throughout the film has just kind of been like, whatever. Let's just put something together that we can like tell the suits, yeah, here you go, it's done. Try and make your money back now.
Yeah, we've gone through everything. I don't mind the mirror concepts, the high-rise idea, all this stuff, but also you again just get the kind of like tacked on Nancy Allen just kind of like, oh, I'm so glad that you're back, and I didn't really mean anything that I said, even though I've just been going on about it the whole entire movie. It's one of those. It is, I would say, it's kind of worth seeing just for the, what was it, Laura Flynn Boyle and Scott, where he's like, but we are scene. And Tangina, Tangina's back to see Heather O'Rourke in her final performance and doing so fantastically well.
Definitely something I'd recommend over the remake.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd watch over the remake.
Yeah,
I'd even watch this film again, just not in any kind of rush, but I wouldn't avoid it. Basically, I was slightly disappointed though.
Yeah.
After the magnificence, which was the number one pick of the week, Poltergeist 2, I believe it also has a subtitle. Yeah, Poltergeist 2, The Other Side. Fantastico. And before we started watching it this week, I thought that I hadn't seen it, but as soon as I saw the opening of Taylor, I believe his name is, the Native American, sitting out in the desert with what looks like Willie Nelson, doing some otherworldly Native American magic, I was like, oh no, I have seen this with the flying spirits and the chanting. And yeah, this is a movie where just, again, anything goes. We also have, unlike the third one, we've got the family returning, minus the teenage daughter, because in real life, I have to get her name up, but they have the teenage daughter in the original one, and in real life she was murdered by her spouse, boyfriend, during the making, I believe, of Poltergeist. So they've written her out of this one saying that she's at college. Well, so they say there's kind of like a curse around Poltergeist because of the amount of people that passed away during the making of it and stuff like that. Because Heather O'Rourke, you've got the guy who played Kane originally, who's in this, and the lady that played the teen daughter in the original. So yeah.
This one, it's got the sequel effect of, oh, we can be a bit silly now, but it still has the creep factor, which I appreciate, and it just makes it highly, as I said, entertaining, I think is the right word for it. And again, the things that are maybe less explained in the original film, which suits it perfectly, they kind of go into like, well, let's flesh that out in this one. And I think they did a really good job, actually.
Yeah, it is Taylor, our Native American character from the beginning when he's in the desert chanting with Willie Nelson. What happens is he's like doing all this, and we quickly move to the site of where the graveyard has come up in the house previously in the first Poltergeist movie. And we've got Tangina, and she's looking around saying, and she's digging below the graveyard saying that something terrible has happened here. Taylor, the Native American, he shows up, and they're both looking around this graveyard underground.
Excavation.
There's like bones and skulls everywhere, but there's one particular body there where it's still kind of fleshy and its mouth is wide open, which is a great effect. It's actually Kane. Yeah, very cool. And there's loads of dead bodies here. And Kane's body has a giant slug come out of it, so instantly it's fantastic. And Tangina and Taylor, the Native American, they ask the question, where is the family that lived here? So quickly we're introduced to the family, and they're just eating in the garden with their dog and grandma, having a swell time. The Freeling family are back, so we're having this this like nice picnic outside or lunch, whatever. And then we go inside in the evening, and we get the classic line that the kid, the son, is asking his dad, can't we get a TV? And there's like no more TVs, you know. It has that feel to it. And then because obviously this is like 1980 something like that, once the son Oliver finds out he can't have a TV, he's like, I guess I'll just grow up retarded then. And the dad says to him, you're not a retardo. Yeah. And grandma from the family, the Freeling family, she's talking to Carol Ann about the powers that she now is realizing that she may have, as grandma also has the power.
Well, it turns out it runs through all the women in this family, doesn't it? But the mum's kind of pushed hers down, it seems. But she does have powers. Yeah, grandma's testing Carol Ann. She's like asking for various colours of yarn to do her knitting, and Carol Ann's finding them in this basket full without even looking. She's like, oh yeah, this is the red one. Oh wait, let me dig. Yeah, that's yellow. So the grandma's like, oh, do you ever feel like you know things without knowing why? It's because we have a special gift. Yeah. So Carol Ann is, yeah, I
just call the son Oliver. That's the actor's name. The son's name is Robbie. So yeah, we've got Robbie, Carol Ann, and Steve and Diane are the married couple, Jo Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson, who are both pretty fantastic as the parents.
Again, just going back to the remake, is such a poor replacement.
Yeah, the comedic angles in Poltergeist 2 I actually laughed at. You know, not laugh, but it made me just chuckle.
Way more believable that this guy was like actually like one of those types of characters.
Yeah.
And I think especially because we also see him be more serious and even change personality completely at a certain point, and he sells it so well that it's like, I know you said you enjoyed Tom Skerritt's performance in the remake.
No, that's
sorry,
number 3.
Not Tom Skerritt.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. Sam Rockwell's performance.
Out of everything
but I feel like, again, it could be the script, but I just don't feel like it was pulled off at all with the whole...
Absolutely. Like we mentioned, just nothing in the remake is pulled off anywhere near as well as even the second one in the original, which we're talking about now. Once we've been reintroduced to the family at home, and we've got the grandma talking to Carol Ann about her special abilities, and little Robbie wants his TV back, and obviously there's reasons why I don't want their TV back, no more TV, because the spirits live in the TV. We've then got the mother, little Carol Ann and Robbie, they're out shopping. And while they're out shopping, the little Robbie's like, can we get a TV? He's just like constantly banging on about getting a TV. And then all of a sudden I've written weird old dude, aka Kane, starts stalking Carol Ann because somehow mother has left Carol Ann behind outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when mum realises, oh shoot, I don't know where my little girl is, and they go running out and they find Carol Ann, I think they're doing some kind of like nursery rhyme hand thing. The old man
Kane.
with her.
Kane and Carol Ann, yeah.
And again, like I was going to say this when we were just discussing the third one, but I decided to save it for now. With Kane in this one, of course, yeah, we 100% get like creepy vibes. Like they've made him up and the acting, he does a great job. You know, this weird thing, but
He's also a legendary guy in real life. I was reading about him.
But it's not made clear. Like it's not supposed to be obvious.
No, because
whether he's good or bad.
When we see when Carol Ann first sees Kane, he's kind of walking through living people. Mm-hmm. So at first we just think it's only going to be Carol Ann that can see him. So it is quite a surprise when Robbie and the mum come running around the corner, and they can both see Carol Ann physically touching him, like holding his hands and talking to him. So he manifests so that the parents can see him as well as Carol Ann. And once that happens, they go back home. Grandma once again is now Grandma's now telling the mother about the psychic abilities, or whatever you want to call them, Carol Ann's gifts, and the mum doesn't want her to have them. Obviously. So once we've seen this scene, it's nighttime, and we get Carol Ann going to bed, and she's got a toy plastic phone, and she picks it up, and she's like, "Oh, hello, Grandma, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm sure everything's going to be fine." Next morning, we've got the parents crying in the kitchen. Carol Ann comes down with Robbie, and they're like, "What's wrong, parents? And why are you sobbing?" It's like, "Oh, Grandma passed away in the middle of the night." So we know that Grandma's passed away on the other side, but she's still managing to contact Carol Ann through like the plastic phone and stuff like that. I know she's passed. The mother, she's in outside gardening, but she has a vision harking back to the original movie where she's like pulled into the ground by all of the deceased from the graveyard, which is buried underneath their home. It's like a dream. And we quickly get to another vision. There's a storm cloud, like manifests above the house. Do you remember this? I remember you laughed a little bit because of the effect. And when the storm cloud gathers across, the other side, the bad things on the other side, they then start to communicate with Carol Ann through her little plastic phone.
Yeah.
And instead of "they're here," we get "they're back." Yeah, again, really well spoken again, and just it's kind of what you want from a sequel, almost, isn't it? Yeah.
Because they're living at the grandma's house now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Well, not quite, because they want to leave after all this happens, but then Taylor, the native Indian, he turns up at the home, just randomly turns up at the home, and he tells them...
Whilst they're going out the door, essentially.
He tells them that they're better off staying, because wherever they go, the spirits are going to follow them, so they might as well stay in a place where they know and where they're comfortable to see off these spirits. We then have like a really random scene where they go to a diner. They're in a diner at night time, and there are these two like cliched, put upon women sitting at the diner bar who are like, "Oh, that man is no good for you.
You got me up at 3 a.m. to tell me about
this." But then Grandma possesses one of these women, and she walks over to the table where our family are, and the mother, she's like looking at this woman going, "Mama? Mama?"
Yeah, because of what she's saying, obviously.
Yeah,
She's
Grandma's like relaying a message through this woman, but then obviously Grandma then leaves the woman and was like, "I'm not your mama, lady," kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, basically we've got that nice little touch of Grandma's spirit is still there. She's still looking over them.
Yeah, the Grandma's looking over her daughter Diane, the mother of Carol Ann, and after the diner bit, we then get the Red Indian, the Native American, Taylor. He knows about the lady in the diner. He knows this has happened, and he reveals that he has come to help the family. He's going to help the family get rid of what's going on.
He does say as well that he's like an acquaintance of Tangina, right?
Yeah, he does say
Yeah.
that he knows Tangina.
Which
and
Mum is happy about. Dad is a bit like, oh, for God's sake.
the thing is, the Native American Taylor, he also is supposed to know Kane, and we're supposed to know more about this, but this movie lasts about an hour and a half, just under an hour and a half. The original cut of the film ran about 2 hours, and there was a lot more stuff filled in as to how and why Kane and Taylor knew each other.
Okay, because I didn't really get that
Yeah,
at all.
and neither did I. That's why I've got to kind of rely on my notes a bit more, unfortunately, for this one, because a lot of it just kind of like didn't tie in, and the whole reason was, MJ just cut loads of scenes out, which would have made more sense. There was. Do you remember when? Actually, I'll get to it when I bring it up. So, where are we now? So no, the kind of like the dad, Steve, was like, no one can help us, man.
Yeah.
Right. But Taylor is adamant that they can. So Carol Ann then talks to Taylor, and they end up taking him home because, he's met them outside the diner after this whole thing has happened, and he says, the lady in there speaks the truth. I can help you. So Carol Ann's like, I've just spoken to Native Indian man. We're going to take him home and we're going to have him.
Mommy,
can we have him? Yeah. He also, when he takes him home, he says, that your house is fine, as I've already mentioned. It's haunted, but your car, it's very angry, and I'm going to fix it. And like Steve's like, you're going to make it happy? And it's the way that the dad, Steve, Craig T. Nelson, delivers these lines. It's just so well done.
Yeah.
And the comedic breaks in the movie are great. And then we move on, because I say, like, MJ's cut out loads of scenes. We have a Native American rain dance, and
yeah, this was super random.
He's doing a rain dance outside while the Freelings, the mother and father, Steve and the wife, are looking at Taylor doing this rain dance outside.
Right.
And while they're looking at this, we get like another kind of comedic moment, because when Steve was watching him do this, he's like, hey, I'm 15th Indian through my mother. She'll never admit it, but what if this guy's from the tribal asylum? It's like, I want to believe this guy, and I'm also 1/15th in Red Indian, but what if this guy's just a nut job kind of thing, doing this. And then now Taylor has the son in a teepee outside, sitting in a teepee, and the mother's not too pleased about this because
well, it's not the teepee she's unhappy
no,
about.
she's not unhappy about the teepee. She's unhappy that Taylor's saying that Robbie wants to be a man.
Well, because
he is a man.
Well, he's put the face paint stuff on, but I think he was like scratching stuff into him. That's what she was really a bit like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah, but then Taylor informs her, he's 13 now or whatever he is. He wants to be a man and he's ready for more grown up stuff. So I really enjoy the just randomness of having a Native American coming and live with the Freelings.
Super random.
I don't know what it is about it, but it is again very 80s, that kind of thing. You wouldn't get that now of just because the movie opens with him in the desert doing the chanting and all that, and for him to just come along
and getting like some smoky stuff into him, and
that comes later. Yeah, he puts the power into Steve.
No, but I think it happens right at the beginning, and then he does, and then it happens again later when he's with Steve. Yeah,
and it's at this point now where Taylor, he's almost part of the family now. He's comfortable enough to do his rain dancing and things like this, that Kane now makes himself known to the family. So he's already he's already made himself known at the shopping mall and stuff like that, but Steve is yet to see him.
Yeah, I liked this bit.
This was a superb bit. And before we get into this bit, once Kane shows up and we have the scene of him coming to the house, and as you say, like the storm clouds kind of like start to gather because Kane is here and he's evil.
Yeah, well, I hadn't really said that yet, but
it takes over the sun.
So we've got a lovely sunny day. Everyone's happy. Carol Ann is out playing in the garden, and she sees Kane sort of walking along the perimeter.
Singing. Yeah, singing a religious song.
Yeah, I was going to say hymn or something, and
because he was formerly a reverend. Yeah.
And as he starts sort of walking closer and closer towards the house, it goes from a lovely sunny day to just pouring down with rain. And, the little boy is like, come on, Carol Ann, you're getting soaked, let's get inside. And she's just like rooted to the spot, essentially. eventually she does move, and we get the family kind of gathered under the awning, and the Reverend Kane, he's just outside of the protection, so he's still being rained down on. And he's got this, weird, smile thing that you can't get rid of. And
extremely creepy smile,
it's really good.
Julian Beck is just knocking this out the park. And what's crazy is he was part of this troupe called the Living Theatre in New York, back in, the crazy days of the 60s or whatever, where it was a 30-strong theatre troupe. And it was all that kind of, he was an innovator of having the audience participation, or essentially accosting the audience during performances, doing naked performances, and him and the troupe would also just trip balls on LSD during performances. They would actually take LSD during the performances and just kind of ad-lib their stuff. And he had he had a wife who had one name, like Madonna or Bono. And they were arrested in multiple countries for indecent exposure and narcotics, stuff like this. So he was a truly out there artiste. So when he's in this movie as Kane, it's one of only, I think, 4 or 5 roles in a movie that he has, and it all started when he was in. Well, actually, he was only 60 years old in this. He looks quite a bit older. It's probably what LSD's been taken.
That's what that life will do.
He also had an open marriage. So he was just having sex with all and sundry, men, women, whatever. And yeah, he's a true, out there avant-garde artiste. And in this, you can tell that he's just had years and years and years and years of theatre experience, because he's bringing all of that to this role and making Kane completely believable and just ultra creepy. I love the character of Kane.
He's also just incredibly, controlled.
Mm-hmm.
He manages to do all that, but he does it with a lot of control. And again, so at this point, I think the rest of the family all goes inside, and we've got Kane just talking to the dad.
To Steve, yeah.
And he keeps kind of trying to be invited into the house.
And he's also telling Steve that Taylor, the Native American, is dangerous, and he needs to get him out of the house.
Well, I think it kind of progresses, because at first he's not even trying to go with that tack. He's like, yeah, let me tell you about my wares. I am a salesman. Let me into the house. And Steve is like, no, I don't think so. Then we've got the bit where Steve is actually in the house and he's closed the door, so we've got the screen in between them, and this is when Kane's obviously getting quite desperate, and so he's like, yeah, Taylor is bad, and your family is looking to him as the man, and you're kind of useless, and you need me to help you.
Yeah, he said, like you say, you failed. You failed your family by
questioning his masculinity,
and he keeps repeating, let me see him. Let me in. Let me in. He keeps repeating that. And he's like, you're all gonna die. You're all gonna die in there.
Yeah, because Steve is, it seems like he's about to be swayed, and he's about to be like, yeah, I'm gonna let this guy in. And then I think it's Carol Ann says something in the background, and that kind of snaps Steve out of it.
Yeah.
And Steve was like, no, you know what, leave my house. And that's when he's like, you're all gonna die.
Yeah, he goes from you're all gonna die to he turns and just goes back to singing his religious song and walks away casually.
And lo and behold,
the sun starts to come back out again. It's, again, I don't want to call it a cliche thing where someone evil comes along, and because it's not cliche, because you don't see it that much. But it's just something that I have probably just seen somewhere, maybe a cartoon, something like that, more so than in a live action movie. And just the way it was brought about, another scene in the broad daylight to make it that creepy was especially well done. What I was going to go at, this was the scene I was talking about. So when Kane shows up at the house, later on we see him coming, and he's walking along the picket fence, and we see the garden and then the house just off in the distance. He's clearly coming along again to go and see the family. But what happens is they just show him walking on the picket fence, and they end it there with him singing his song, where what was filmed was he goes to visit the house again, and he encounters Tangina, who's in the house. Mm-hmm. And the actress Zelda Rubinstein, who plays Tangina, once you saw the cut of the movie, she was really irked that they'd cut her and Julian Beck as Kane having this to and fro, because apparently it's gold.
I can imagine that.
And you can imagine it being gold. Tangina and Kane talking about, their past and what's going on now. And MGM just decided to cut it just to make this movie, an hour and a half long. And yeah, there's a couple of times when he comes back to the house, which we don't get to see it, unfortunately, because one of the best scenes is when Kane comes to the house just talking to Steve. So as good as it is of him talking to Steve, it would have been so much better with him talking to Tangina.
Yeah.
And they cut it, which is like an absolute
That is
travesty.
a shame, yeah.
It really is a shame.
But we also, I thought it was funny because I was like, because Taylor, as you said, like Taylor's living with them, right?
Yeah, yep, Taylor's living with them now, yeah. Carol Ann's insisted that they bring the Native American home,
but when we have...
It's like a sitcom, like All American Family plus Native American.
When we have Reverend Kane trying to get into the house and Steve, almost letting him in and breaking the reverie, just after the Reverend leaves, we then get Taylor popping up and being like,
he's taking your power.
No.
Oh.
You, that was a test. You passed the test. Because until he said that, I was like, where's Taylor? Why isn't Taylor, like, here?
Jumping out and saving
telling
the day,
him to bugger off.
Yeah.
So, the test. And is it long after this that Taylor takes...
Yeah, what happens is after he says the test thing, he then also informs Steve that Kane, with this interaction, has sucked his power. So he gives him a feather to give him his power back because, he's got the knowledge. He's got the otherworldly powers, Taylor. And he says, we must prepare. And he's like, and Steve's like, prepare? And he starts staring at the sky, like they're out in the garden after this. He's like, we must prepare. Prepare for what? And it's like, prepare for battle. And he's like, what are you doing? Steve's like, what are you doing? And he just repeats him again, I'm preparing. And Steve's also got a bottle of booze. He's like, I'm preparing too. He's got his bottle of booze, gaining power. And yeah, Taylor now starts to give him the knowledge in the garden. And we're not quite yet out to the desert because we go back inside and Robbie is washing up. He's washing up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And as he closes
being a
the
little
mirror...
dandy. Yeah.
We see like I keep calling them zombies, the dead, the corpses from underneath the house. But Robbie's got braces in this movie. Also, he's calling out for help because his braces come alive.
If you didn't already not want braces as a kid,
Yeah.
watching this movie, it would just be like, right, I'm definitely not getting braces, Mum.
Yeah.
His braces come alive, they grow, they start winding around him, they pull him up to the ceiling, they're alive.
And of course, because braces are made of metal and the entities are very evil, they try to get the metal braces into the electricity socket.
By this point, Mum and Dad are there trying to wrestle him out.
Yeah, luckily for Robbie, they do manage to get him out. And once it's all escalating, it's at this point that Taylor decides, right, got to this point, I have to take Steve out to the desert. So he takes Steve out to the desert, and before we get to the scene in the desert, we now have Tangina showing up at the house. So Tangina shows up, and she's telling the mum about the tomb below, and how no one has any idea who these people were, but they were massacred by Native Americans. Recall that? Once again, it doesn't go anywhere because they've clearly cut something from the movie, because Tangina's only just showing up. As I previously mentioned, we after this should be getting a scene with Kane and Tangina and everything about the Indian massacre, but it's left out, so it's just left there, so we can't really go on any further.
But I thought that doesn't really fit in then with what we later find out about this cult.
Yeah, obviously, Kane is part of a cult, but who knows what was left out? I don't know everything that was left out. I'm only relaying what I know was left out. Well,
let's continue kind of chronologically then, because we now get Taylor taking Steve out
and
to a sweat lodge.
He lights a fire. He starts doing the hey, 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 the chanting, and he's got his rattle, kind of like skeleton rattles, and he's giving Taylor the knowledge by blowing the spirit into Steve's mouth. Yeah, Taylor's blowing the spirit into his mouth to make him one with power and knowledge. And yeah, I loved all that. Yeah, the sweat room. And why not? I mean, we're going completely otherworldly at this point. There is a heritage of Native Americans being one with the spirit world. So why wouldn't you use this to its full advantage? I loved it. Once again, I absolutely loved it. I want to see more Native Americans come and school people, to take on the evils of the world. That's what I was saying to you during the movie as well, wasn't I? I love Taylor. Yeah. And then I don't know what I've got here. I've written weird voice gives photo of Kane and asks her what she feels. Does someone give Caroline a photo of Kane and ask her what she feels?
No, it's not. It's not Carol Ann. It's Tangina produces a photo of Kane and shows it to the mum.
Right.
And
that's it.
She's like, "What do you feel?" And the mum is like, "Oh, I've seen this guy, but what do you mean? What do I feel like? Who is this guy?" And Tangina's like, "No. I have powers, yes, but you do as well, and you're the only one who can answer this specific question about Kane." So yeah, I don't even remember what the mum ends up saying, but
it's probably cut by MGM.
Yeah, but she kind of does realise, actually, yeah, I do have some powers,
which she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to let them at the surface because she's scared of them almost, right?
But this is the bit that now I don't know if it comes here chronologically, but what confuses me when you're like, oh yeah,
it is about the Kane cult now.
Okay, yeah. So when actually, yeah, I think the mum does notice all this. So when you're like, oh yeah, the Native Americans massacred them or whatever, that's not what I thought they were saying in the film, because to me it seemed like, so Kane was the leader of a cult essentially, and he'd predicted the end of the world,
as they all do, cult leaders.
So he'd taken his following all to this cave that's under their old house
where we see them at the beginning. Yeah. When the slug comes out of his mouth.
And apparently the day that he predicted comes and goes, but he won't let them leave. So I thought that they just died because, well, they're stuck underground with him.
Yeah, that's also what I was getting. That's why that's the only reason that I wrote down the whole thing about them being massacred by Native Americans. I was like, oh, there must be something more in the script what they cut out, and that's incredibly annoying because we don't even get to see. Do we even get to see an interaction between Taylor and Kane during this entire movie?
I don't think so.
Because it probably came to light that, no, it actually wasn't Native Americans that massacred the people that were here. This is what these people were.
That would make sense. That would be like, oh, this is what people were told or whatever, but actually it was Kane who was insane or whatever.
Yeah.
Kane's insane.
And the reason that they also didn't bring up the reason that they want Carol Ann is because the dead, they've tasted Carol Ann's life, and they want her back. They want that taste of life back again.
Not quite. It was...
I'm going to blame MGM.
Yeah, Kane wants her back because, I mean, you're kind of right, but a slight subtle difference is that when Carol Ann was there with them, they got that taste of life and like
sweet life,
a freedom. But they don't...
Kane wouldn't let them have.
They don't want that. They've realised through that, they're like, oh, I want... they want to be released from this captivity that they're in, essentially. That's what it is.
So they're saying that actually the spirits are essentially still stuck underground where Kane has had them.
Not in the light. They're still stuck there where Kane let them die. And Kane is like, well, I can't be having this.
Yeah, there's now a part where they've left the house again, and Taylor, it might still be in the sweat lodge, that Taylor says to Steve, you have to go back to your I think you have to go back to the original house from the first movie and confront what is going on there. Confront
all together, yeah.
Yeah, and that's at this point as well that you also get Taylor saying, like, my work here is done. I've done all I can, much like Tangina does in number 3. And I've given you the power, given you the knowledge by blowing in your face. Now it's time for you to end it. But instead, while Steve's kind of like gathering up the courage and trying to take in everything that Taylor's been telling him, he decides to get a bottle of tequila with the classic tequila worm at the bottom of the bottle. And he's drinking down the tequila, and he managed to finish the whole bottle. And of course, he swallows the worm. And now we get a part in the movie where I was kind of like squeezing your thigh going, this movie It's so cool because Tequila Worm, Dad, is now possessed, right? So he's being possessed by whatever this worm is. And he goes...
Kane, I think.
I think it is Kane, yeah. And he goes to his wife and he's being a bit heavy-handed with the come-on. You know, he's like, you're going to make love to me now.
Well, he's essentially assaulting her, yeah.
Yeah, he's very heavy-handed. And
again, this was going to say the acting is brilliant.
It is absolutely superb,
he
yeah.
absolutely pulled it off.
Yeah.
Like, I was scared and hated this iteration of him.
Yeah, he's gone from this like happy-go-lucky Steve to just the complete opposite. Yeah, again, the actor Crazy Jones is just absolutely fantastic. And the wife manages to like get through to Steve.
That's it, because she's like, she says, "I love you, I do, I love you."
Love is conquering all again.
And so, yeah, the evil gets literally expelled from him.
He starts to then like, oh, something's going to come out of me. And we just see Steve throwing up like an entire being, an entire person. And once he's regurgitated, thrown up this person, this thing, we see it, and it has a very Kane face. It's kind of slimy. It has no legs, and it's kind of like...
I think you were saying it's very Wishmaster, this thing, as well, wasn't it?
It was extremely Wishmaster, but again, like I said, more Wishmaster is extremely Poltergeist too, because this effect was so good. When they had this legless Kane crawling along the floor...
So it was obviously good. Like they've got a little person and put them in some sort of weird prosthetic suit thing. And yeah, it had no legs, like you said. They'd like done it so that the legs were just like fleshy bits, and it crawls away. But then
it's coming after him again.
It grows bigger and bigger, doesn't it? And it like chucks the bed over onto them, and
it's this whole giant thing. But luckily, Steve manages to... He blows the spirit into this Kane monstrosity, and it dissipates. So thank God for Taylor and his sweat room and his knowledge and his power. He wasn't lying. He has given Steve the knowledge and the power, and it seems like he doesn't need him anymore. So the family, of course, at this point, they want to get the hell out of here. So they're in the garage. They get into their car, and it's at this point. So originally, the film, you know, we're going back to the 80s, where there's a whole 3D movie craze. We had like Friday the 13th 3D, others. They wanted to make Poltergeist to a 3D movie. So that's why we now get the kind of hokey part where a chainsaw manages to float itself off of the workbench and hovers around the car and comes face first through the windscreen, because MGM were going to go full scale with the 3D, but once they saw that the likes of Friday the 13th 3D had failed, I was like, oh, let's just knock off the 3D and just have this dumb floating chainsaw. Now, out of everything that you see in this movie, for me, even though it's silly and funny, this was just a little bit too laughable. You know, you've taken away from the slight seriousness that you're getting into here.
I thought, so during this bit, obviously, loads of things come to life.
A live wire as well.
Live wire. Live wire. And we get something going around the like bumper of the car, so that when Steve's trying to like drive out of there,
isn't that just chains or something like that?
Yeah,
holding the car back.
So I think I didn't mind the electric wires flying about. I liked the chain sort of holding the car in place. But yeah, I think I kind of agree. It was a bit...
The chainsaw was too hokey.
And also, I just feel like chainsaws are a difficult one to do when...
Especially a floating one.
But when you've had Texas Chainsaw, like... I just feel like chainsaws are kind of off limit now.
Yeah, they belong to Leatherface.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, it could have been something else, maybe.
It could have just been the live wire. And the chains almost, And what's great as well, obviously, the Freeling family, they have a dog... And while the reason the chains were on the car, because they're trying to escape this new house to go back to the old house, like Taylor's told Steve to do, to confront the entity. So while they're all getting in the car, the dog comes and grabs hold of the zzz, the live wires. Like, you get the family, get in the car, I'm the dog, I'm looking after the humans. And yeah, I love that dog when he has
He's a cutie.
when he has the live
Yeah.
wire and he's saving
But
everybody.
the son makes sure the dog gets in the car as well.
Of course, the dog gets in the car.
And yeah, so this car is still angry, by the way.
Still angry, yeah,
Still
because
angry.
Taylor has not managed to fix it yet.
And it's now, had chainsaw slicing bits out of it. The bumper gets pulled off
By
when
the
they eventually
chains.
get out. I mean, this car is
It's a hoopty now.
smashed up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the family makes it to the excavation.
Yeah, they manage to drive this battered old car to the old house. And who's there? Tangina. Tangina is there. So they all go together, the family and Tangina, underground to this excavation point. And it's not just Tangina that's there. In the background, we hear the chanting of Taylor, the Native American. He is back also because he's got just a little bit more knowledge that they're going to need for the final battle. And he makes a fire. Yeah, and he has Steve and Robbie step into the flame. The lads have to step into the flame.
Yes.
To get the final power. And that because on the other side, the girls have been taken to the other side at this point.
That's it. The girls are already kidnapped, let's say, in the other world. And they're like, oh no, Carol Ann, she's getting too close to the light. And obviously, once she gets in the light, can't get her back. So you boys, again, Taylor said from the start, the family, the 4 of them are needed. It won't do with 3 of them, definitely not 2. It has to be all of you together. So yeah, he sends the 2 boys in through the flame. I mean, the trust they put in him to jump into a live fire is...
Yeah, the thing is with the sweat room, Steve now knows that Taylor truly does have the power. And he's been doing the rain dance, he's making everything that he's saying is coming to light. Yeah. There's also this really unbelievably cool bit. I'm not sure if it comes through the flame or if we're just in the other world, but we see Carol Ann, and she's in this fleshy pillar with all these other heads around it. Do you remember that? It's quite a Hellraiser-ish type
it is,
effect.
Yeah.
I was absolutely loving that part just as much as the no-legged cane.
Yeah, I don't remember what part that's in, but yeah, you're right. I think, again, that's supposed to be showing them taking
Carol Ann
hold of her into it. Yeah. So at this point, we've got the whole family are in this floaty other realm, and they're trying to get together, but Carol Ann ends up floating away on her own, and even Taylor back at his fire is like, oh no, I've lost her. She's going into the light. But who saves the day?
Before she saves the day, also Taylor throws a weapon through the fire into the other world for the family to use.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But it's Granny.
Grandma Angel is there.
Yeah, Angel Granny comes out of the light and brings Carol Ann back to the familia.
And of course, when Grandma... I've got my hair standing up on end just thinking about this great movie.
Mine is too, but that's just because I'm cold.
I love this movie. And when they are brought back, when the family's brought back into the real world, I believe it's Taylor who says, they're back. So again, you've got they're here, they're back, they're back. You've got to use it. Typical classic sequel style. And yeah, everyone's back. We've got the happy ending. We got rid of Kane. I think something like his corpse probably explodes or something like this because it's an 80s sequel. And the family are walking back outside. And of course, what they'll see... Taylor sees the car, which is already alluded to previously, and he's like, your car, it's happy. It wants to come home with me. And Steve's like, the car wants you? He's like, He's like, just take it. Just take it.
And at this point, like I said, this car is so battered. I was like, you wouldn't get any money for it. I don't think you're going to spend a shit ton trying to repair it. So just... Yeah.
But Taylor's got the power.
Have it, Taylor.
Taylor's got the power.
You have that.
Taylor then starts to drive off down the street. But then the son Robbie asks, Dad, how are we gonna get home? So of course they start running after and shouting after Taylor. The classic happy ending. And yeah, that is the end.
Yeah.
There's a lot of standout moments. I love the whole thing. I love Kane. I love Taylor. I love the physical effects. I even love the braces. I love the comedic element of it.
Yeah,
Just
I think this
everything.
one is the perfect hits the perfect balance between the horror and still being like just zany 80s
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, I don't think it's a horror comedy because it's not comedic in like how most comedies are. It's comedic because a couple of the characters are just, that type of character.
He just is that way, yeah.
But-
He's not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
He just is.
Yeah.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
You've also got a horror movie here where no one dies. And they still manage to make it creepy. They still manage to make it memorable because you don't have kills. Instead, you have threatening scenarios. And all the threatening scenarios are very unique. And this is actually... I prefer this one to Poltergeist. Because as I said, the first one is it's a bit too tame for my liking. There's a bit more of a horror element brought with Kane for this one. As in like a real... a person that you can actually be afraid of, rather than all the other worldly stuff like clowns and trees. You have this just creepy dude here, played to perfection by the actor.
Yeah.
I already want to see this film again. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And in the credits, we also pointed out that they had a paranormal researcher and psychic advisor on the set. So they're trying to keep it all legit, and it all shines through. That's why he probably got such a great Tangina.
So, do you know if the original extended version is available anywhere?
I haven't looked for it, but what I did see, didn't mention anywhere that these scenes were anywhere. They might have just been left on the cutting room floor. If they haven't, I would love to see again Tangina and Kane having a to and fro and finding out why it was put out there that the Native Americans had originally committed the massacre of the graves. And
Well, this is certainly one of the few films where the extra time wouldn't have bothered me. So
no, certainly not, because this film really flies by as well.
Yeah.
And
the other two dragged a bit for me, but this one did not.
Yeah, with the the original family not returning for the third one, it hurts it.
Yeah.
We still get the great Head O'Rourke, we still get Tangina, but yeah, it's not as good. I think that, like you said, everything comes together in this movie. They take everything that's great about the first one and just kind of amp it up a little bit more, which is normally what happens in sequels. And yeah, I couldn't get enough of this one. Highly recommended. Poltergeist 2. Number 3, not so bad. But yeah, if you like Poltergeist, haven't seen the number 2, definitely check it out. This would be number 1 for a lot of weeks for me.